Wednesday of the 18th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of Numbers. The Lord said to Moses in the desert of Paran, "Send men to reconnoiter the land of Canaan, which I am giving the children of Israel. You shall send one man from each ancestral tribe, all of them princes." After reconnoitering the land for 40 days they returned, met Moses and Aaron and the whole congregation of the children of Israel. In the desert of Paran at Kadesh, made a report to them all, and showed the fruit of the country to the whole congregation. They told Moses, "We went into the land to which you sent us. It does indeed flow with milk and honey, and here is its fruit. However, the people who are living in the land are fierce, and the towns are fortified and very strong. Besides, we saw descendants of the Anakim there. Amalekites live in the region of the Negeb. Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites dwell in the highlands, and Canaanites along the seacoast and the banks of the Jordan." Caleb, however, to quiet the people toward Moses, said, "We ought to go up and seize the land, for we can certainly do so." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We cannot attack these people, they are too strong for us." So they spread discouraging reports among the children of Israel about the land they had scouted, saying, "The land that we explored is a country that consumes its inhabitants, and all the people we saw there are huge, veritable giants." The Anakim were a race of giants. "We felt like mere grasshoppers, and so we must have seemed to them." At this, the whole community broke out with loud cries, and even in the night the people wailed. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "How long will this wicked assembly grumble against me? I have heard the grumblings of the children of Israel against me. Tell them, 'By my life, says the Lord, I will do to you just what I have heard you say. Here in the desert shall your dead bodies fall. 40 days you spent in scouting the land. 40 years shall you suffer for your crimes, 1 year for each day. Thus you will realize what it means to oppose me. I, the Lord, have sworn to do this, to all this wicked assembly that conspired against me. Here in the desert they shall die to the last man." The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people. We have sinned, we and our fathers. We have committed crimes. We have done wrong. Our fathers in Egypt considered not your wonders. Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people." But soon they forgot his works. They waited not for his counsel. They gave way to craving in the desert and tempted God in the wilderness. Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people. They forgot the God who had saved them, who had done great deeds in Egypt, wondrous deeds in the land of Ham, terrible things at the Red Sea. Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people. Then he spoke of exterminating them, but Moses, his chosen one, withstood him in the breach to turn back his destructive wrath. Remember us, O Lord, as you favor your people.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But he did not say a word in answer to her. His disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did him homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Then Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish. And her daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading comes from Numbers 13, 1-2, and verse 25 to 14, 1, 26 to 29, and 34 to 35. Moses has reached the boundaries of the promised land, and so he sends spies into the country to reconnoiter, to see what they're going to find. Well, they return with magnificent reports of how the land is filled with milk and honey. They bring back huge bundles of grapes, different types of fruit, which are many sizes what one would expect. So they talk about the fertility of the land, but most of the spies also talk about the fact that the inhabitants of the land are strong and powerful. They look upon the people of Israel as if they were grasshoppers. We would probably say as ants that they are going to step on and crush. So they discourage the people. Only Caleb, who has gone along with the spies, says, "The Lord has led us. Let's go in and conquer them." Because of this, Caleb will be one of the two people who left the land of Egypt who will be allowed to enter into the promised land, he and Joshua. All the other people are sentenced to die in the desert. It's almost as if they're not worthy to enter because they haven't trusted in the providence of God, they haven't been grateful. So their punishment is not to see the land. The people of Israel has to be purified. A new generation has to come forward who are more worthy of the promise that God has given. The Gospel is from Matthew 15, 21 to 28. Jesus is now in pagan territory, southern Lebanon, and a Canaanite woman comes up to him. Now the fact that she's Canaanite implies that she's a pagan, and she asks that her daughter, who is tormented by a devil, might be healed. The daughter's possessed, she asks for an exorcism. At first Jesus refuses because he has come for the lost sheep of Israel. His mission is to the Jewish people, not to the Gentiles. And he says it's not fair to give the children's food to the dogs. Now that's a very derogatory statement. Dogs were considered to be unclean animals because they ate carrion. Therefore they were looked down upon by the Jewish people. And even today, to call somebody a dog is not exactly a compliment. Well, the Canaanite woman gives a very clever response. Even the dogs get to eat the scraps that fall from the table. Pushing Jesus, showing her faith, showing her trust, and even nudging him a bit. What is Jesus' response? "I've not found such strong faith in Israel." That she, in fact, has expressed a great faith. And this is part of the Gospel of Matthew, where the Gentiles, the very people whom God has not chosen, seem to express a greater faith than the Jewish people, whom God has chosen, to whom God sent Jesus, who performed many miracles in their midst. Sometimes it's the very people we would expect to be on the outside who have a stronger faith because they realize their brokenness and they need to hold on to Jesus for dear life, because otherwise they're not going to make it. It reminds us that our faith has to be a humble faith, a faith in which we recognize fully our brokenness, our need. Because if we try to approach God from our strengths, then we're going to get ourselves in trouble because we'll be filled with arrogance. We'll think we're controlling whatever is happening in our faith life. When, however, we approach the Lord with humility, we remind ourselves that God's in charge, not us. And may God bless us.